I think that it alerts you. All right. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Monica Petrella, and I have the pleasure of being the Homegrown Hillsborough coordinator. And so I know most of you well, but I know there's a few new faces here. So just to kind of start off the meeting, what is Homegrown Hillsborough? So Homegrown Hillsborough is a brand new community development initiative that is all focused on the food system. And so basically we're trying to build a network of community groups and organizations that are interested in doing food system work that can help improve their community. So whether that is by teaching people how to grow their own food, or teaching healthy meals, or talking about how to decrease food waste or conserve water, or how the environment and the food system relate, all kinds of things, infinite possibilities, and the work is pretty substantial. So hopefully we can all work together to make that an easier lift, and one of the tools that we can use in order to better connect our network, and to share resources and to share updates is an online platform. And so that's what we're going to learn about today. And so the platform, I'll talk about the naming a little bit more, but it's called Mobilize. So you'll see that. And so, yeah, so this training will be posted on the platform, on the Mobilize. And so you'll be able to go back and look at it. I'm going to send it out, but it has a lot of really useful information. I am going to try to go through the slides quickly because there's a lot of information and I want to respect everybody's time. But when you have a question, if you want to put it in the chat, that way you won't forget it, but I'll come back to it at the end when we have time. So, so once again, thanks for joining, thanks for being here. All right, so this is the agenda. Like I said, we're going to cover a lot of different aspects. I'm hoping that we'll be able to get through it all, but if we don't, then I'll finish recording the presentation another time, and I will post it. So all of these different things we're going to talk about today, and how this platform can help improve our communication and strengthen our network. And so real quick, if you haven't already, I very much encourage you to take out your cell phone and download the app. We're going to talk about the app at the end of this presentation. So if you download it now, then you'll be able to go and walk through on your phone, and you can see all the different features on your phone. So it is available for both iPhones and Androids. This is the logo. So when you search Mobilize, there are a few other Mobilizes, but this logo with the and sign, community management, group communication. So please, 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 while I'm going through these next few slides, get out your phone and download the Mobilize app. I think it's one of the most important things that we can do. Okay, so just really quickly, the background on why we even care to learn a new tool, why it's important. So, so we're going to do the who, what, when, where, why. So the who is basically all of the different groups that we have that are doing food system work. We want a place where we can all come together and share information. And so a lot of times the way that we share information is through group emails, or you hope word of mouth, or you hope somebody's on your newsletter. But this is going to be a way where we can have one place, Homegrown Hillsborough platform. Everyone that's involved in food system work can meet there, and then decide what to do next. Yes, Manal, I am recording this for the future. I hope I'm recording it. I pressed the record button. And so who, community groups. Groups is an informal word, so it doesn't have to be an LLC or a 501c3. It can be anybody that's representing more than themselves. So for example, somebody who just wants to learn how to compost in their backyard, they wouldn't be a really good fit for this network because they're kind of the end user. They're kind of the person that we hope to build programs for and around. And so they don't need to be in the network sharing resources, planning conferences, giving professional recommendations for different vendors. Those are not the types of things that they need to be involved in. Now, if that person wanted to learn how to compost in their backyard and also teach their neighborhood, and maybe volunteer at the local community center to help expand this information, then they would be a good fit, because we want them to be able to access those resources on volunteer management and sign up sheets and all those different things that we're going to create together. And so basically, kind of the way that I like to talk about it is, who is in the Mobilize? The answer is the people that are willing to put the work in. So the people that are either doing work in their own distinct capabilities or want to do partnership work. And so what is it? So like I said, it's called Mobilize. Literally like 2 weeks ago, I got an email that they have been bought by a bigger company called Forge, Forj. So I haven't seen any of the rebranding come down the pipeline, but it could be that we call it something new in a not too distant future. And so that's a little confusing, and I am sorry about that, but you'll hear me call it the Mobilize. I'm trying to get in the habit of calling it the online platform, but you'll hear that kind of, mixed in between. So Mobilize, Forge, online platform, Homegrown Hillsborough platform, online network, those are all referring to the same thing, which is this tool. So when? Now. And so I believe that everybody here is in the network. Is anybody not in the network already? And if you're not, you can just put it in the chat. And then I don't know if Joshua or Craig or Manar has that registration link. If not, I can send it. But if you're not in the network, then we want you in the network as soon as possible. And so, thank you for all of you that have already registered. I think it's an easy registration, but, if for any reason you're hung up on it, then please just reach out to me and we can make sure that we get you in there. And the sooner that we build this platform, the more comfortable we'll get using it, and then the more useful it will become. And so how do you do that? There's a registration link. This is kind of like an invite only. The invite threshold is pretty low. Basically, if you're a community group that wants to do food system work and you work in Hillsborough County, then we're willing to have you in. And so I approve all of the applications, and I get a notification to my phone. One of the reasons why the app is so great, and I review your profile and make sure that you fit those basic circumstances, and then I approve you. And so why do we care to learn another piece of information or technology? And so for those of you that have been able to kind of hear my presentations on the collective impact model, if you haven't already, you definitely will. So Homegrown Hillsborough is being guided by the collective impact model, and the collective impact model has 5 core tendencies that need to be present in our work, or else we might not be able to see the success that we'd like to see. And so continuous communication is one of those 5 core principles. And basically it just says that we have a place where we know we can connect in between meetings, in between in-person activities. So that way, when you have like a good lead or you have good momentum, it doesn't just fade away. And so, hopefully this will help accomplish that continuous communication goal. So now we'll talk about the actual platform. So I don't see, let me check the chat. I think that nobody's talked about not having a registration link. So all of you have gone through this process already. And so there's a link that I can send out, and it asks you to fill out some basic information. The required aspects you'll see with the stars, your first name, last name, email, and then the rest is I believe is optional, but there are some that are required that are really important. And so I believe that Lana is already in the link, but already in the platform, but thank you so much, Craig. Yeah. And so, the more information, the better. So when you registered, you'll probably recall that it asks what sector you're involved in, and then what asset you're involved in. And so that's going to make it so that as we have grants that come around and they're for producers only for farmers, we can filter out and say, hey, great, we're going to make sure that all the people that are involved in production know about this grant. And so the more information you give, the more targeted information we can give you. And so, this is not to sell you something. This is not to bombard you with emails or pitches that you don't want. This is hopefully to strengthen the work that you do. And so the registration link, if you have anybody else that you want to get involved, reach out to me and I can easily send you that link or send them that link. And so creating a profile is the first thing that you do. And so you'll go through the profile setting up process when you make that link, but it does give you the opportunity to kind of skip and put a profile picture later. I am begging you to make sure that you put a profile picture. It's really important that we know what each other looks like, so that way when we see each other out in the real world, we can go up and have those conversations. We know, oh, I'll be at the meeting, I'll connect with you. Awesome, I know what you look like, I'll be able to go up and talk to you. It also just builds our relationship, right? And so if you don't already have a profile picture, then how you can do that, Joshua, if you can mute yourself and turn your video off. Thank you. If you don't already have a profile picture, then how you do that is in the top right of the platform. When you log in, you'll hover over the circle. If you don't have a profile picture, it'll be a gray circle. And then you click on view my profile. And then there it'll give you the option to upload a profile picture. And so the view my profile versus the profile settings. The view my profile is that profile picture. You can change your registration attributes. So let's say you used to be a farmer, you're no longer a farmer, now you're a chef, and you want to change from production to processing, then go ahead and make that change there. Or if your organization adopts an equity lens to your work, you might want to go and add that to the work that you do. And then your contact info. So if you change emails, if you get a new work number, anything like that, that's going to be in that view my profile. Your profile settings are going to be for your notifications, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more. So I just kind of already quickly talked about this, but this is what that view my settings looks like. So up here is where you will change your profile picture. Here's the different groups that you're part of. I'm part of 20 because I'm the administrator. There aren't 20 to be part of yet. That's kind of a preview of what's to come. Here are all my details, the different assets that I'm involved in. And actually anyways. And so if this profile picture is essential, make sure your profile picture mostly features you. So if you have a group photo, they're already pretty small and it's going to be hard to see which one is you. So make sure that in your profile picture, it is primarily you. And so you can edit all your details here. You can hover over here and then it'll say change my profile picture. There are size limits. So like I tried to use a brand new headshot that I just got from Extension, and it's this giant file because it's really high quality. So if you have a giant image file, then it probably won't be able to be used, but there are lots of free services online where you can compress your photo and make it smaller. You just have to Google image resizing and it'll come up, and I've done that several times. So here's your profile picture. And then if you want to edit any of these aspects, then you click on the little pencil over to the side. Okay, profile settings. This is really important. And I want to lead with saying that I know that we all want less emails, and we want emails that are specific to the things that we care about, and that sometimes your email can feel very precious and that you want to safeguard it. And I understand that. I'm in the same boat. But we have to share information somehow. And so if you don't have some way to stay in the know, then you will grow distant. And so that's kind of what this platform is for, is hopefully to take less junk or less clutter in your email and put it into this platform where you can see it easily, clearly, user-friendly. You'll know how to use this information. But that being said, unless you get in the habit of going to the platform every single day, or if you download the app and you turn notifications on there, which we'll talk about in the end, if you don't do those things, then you might miss out on a lot of really good information. And like I said, this is all stuff that's supposed to help strengthen and support the work that you do. So I feel like you'll be missing out if you don't get in the habit of seeing these reports, seeing these weekly updates, or going to the platform or looking at the mobile app. And so to me, the ones that are should be like bare minimum, I believe, are 4 different types. So when you go to your settings, so you have the view my profile, and then you have profile settings. Right now we're talking about the profile settings. What you can do is just press unsubscribe from all right up here. And this will turn all of those knobs to the left, and it'll turn off all of these different aspects. But then what I would encourage you to do is quickly review all of these different options. And the ones that I would encourage you is the Thursday highlights. So the first one is a Thursday highlight. So depending on the groups that you're in, every Thursday morning, the platform automatically gathers the most recent information that's been posted and sends it out in a digest, so in a condensed way that you can scroll and see some of the top lines. So if somebody posted a grant on Monday, but you haven't visited the platform, then on Thursday, this will come to your inbox on Thursday, and it'll be one of the several things that have been posted. And if you missed it on Monday, now you can see it on Thursday. So it's one email, it's concise. If you click on it, it'll take you to the platform. So I very much encourage everybody to do the Thursday digest. You can get highlights every day if that's something you wanted. If you wanted to get group highlights, you can click on this. This is the picture, so I can't, but you can click on this and the different groups you're in. So for example, if farm to school is the main thing that you care about and you don't want to miss a single thing with farm to school, then and you're in the farm to school group, then you can click right here and you can make that for farm to school. And so then you can get an email every single day. And so maybe that's what you want to do. Maybe it's not, that's up to you. And so some of the other ones that I think are important are the private replies to my post. So if you post something on the app or in the platform, and then somebody wants to ask you a question privately, not a comment, but a private reply, then they really want to talk to you, right? Like they took time to ask you something. So you want to make sure that you know about that. And so by toggling this over, then you'll be able to make sure that you're responding to people when they reach out to you. The @ mentions of me, we're going to talk a little bit more about the @ function. But basically, if somebody tags you in something, so sometimes you'll see that I'll post something and then in the comments I'll tag somebody because I think it's especially important for them to see. Then if you toggle this, then you'll get that notification. The platform will email you and say, hey, Monica tagged you in this, and it'll draw your attention to it. And then the last one is event notifications. And so to me, this is one of the most useful aspects of the platform, which is the event coordination. And we're going to talk about events in more detail in a minute. So I'm not going to go too much into there, but I very much encourage you to toggle the event notification and you can, once again, limit it to just one group or all the groups or a handful of groups. And so by going to your profile settings, this will be the first thing that you see. You can click around and adjust your preferences. So please, please, please take 5 minutes to review all these different things and see the ones that you want to be in. This is one of the things that's going to help strengthen this platform. Just a reminder, if you haven't already, please take a second to download the app because we're going to review something very similar for these notifications on the app in the end. I think the app is like the easiest way to stay in the know. So just a reminder, download the app if you haven't already. All right, so I did a pre-recorded video because I wanted to make sure that there wasn't any hiccups in this demonstration. So we're going to watch this video, and I think I explained everything pretty well here, but if not, then we can do questions. And if somebody, once I press play, I'm assuming that you'll be able to hear it, but if somebody can just like give me a thumbs up either through the React or in the chat, then that would let me know that you all hear something. So here I go. Okay, it might be because I muted myself. So thank you, Manar, for letting me know that. So here, I'm going to try again. Okay, now I'm just going to be quiet. Okay, well, so still no sound. I'm sorry about that. Okay, let me see how I can do this. We think this is all going to be so easy. Okay, so audio device, microphone, no. Okay, well, what I'll do instead is, since you can't hear it, I'll just kind of talk over while the video goes. So thanks for, once again, being patient, everybody. So I was just demonstrating how to change your profile, which I just talked about. I'm going to go ahead and turn that down. And so you saw that I went to the top right, hovered over the profile picture, and then these are the notifications. And so you probably saw I clicked on profile settings. You unsubscribe from all. They all get turned off. And then you can go through and add back the ones that you think are relevant. These 4 I think are essential, but if you don't believe so, then that is up to you. Here you can see, and so this is a demonstration account. So I was only part of one group, but if I was part of more groups, then all those groups would have. Here is the main page. When you register, everybody is part of the main page. And so I'm going to turn my camera off so that way I can save bandwidth. So you all can still see the presentation, right? Sure. Yes. Okay, great. Thank you. And so I think that maybe it paused. Okay, so this is the main page. Everybody's part of the main page. At the very top, we have these highlights. And so those are things that when you mark as highlight, they go to the top. And so it's supposed to be something that everybody's eyes can see right as they enter the main page. So I have a few things up there right now. If you ever want to schedule time with me for a one-on-one meeting, you can see that right up there. I have a link. Then you can see all the different people in the platform. Look at those beautiful pictures, some introduction posts. And then these are what the posts look like. And so you can see I tagged some people. And so this, introduce yourself. So when you enter the platform for the first time, you're going to see this little yellow dude. Please, yellow person. And the reason why is because it formats it to be really visually appealing, has a big picture of you, and it helps us know who's in the app, and it'll automatically prompt intro, hi, I'm so and so, and then it'll already take your profile picture and make it so that's visible. So here you can see that lots of different posts. I'm really pleased that other people are using this as well. So there's a call on food security. And so this right here is showing you that there's other groups that you can join. And so depending on the specific work that you do, you might want to know more about community nutrition, but you maybe don't want to know more about economic development. For whatever reason, your work doesn't really concern that. So you go over to the left, you can either click join on those right there, or if you don't see that on your screen, you can go over to the side and click on view all and see all the different groups that you can join. And so some of them, so the Healthy Corner Store Working Group was all the members into the platform so we could share resources. And so that's nestled within community nutrition. As our network grows and we begin to hone in on our specific goals, we're going to start seeing more groups kind of nestled within. So economic development might have a farmer's part. It might have a food entrepreneurship specific group. So those are things that we'll discover together. And once again, hopefully making it so that the information is more targeted and more relevant to you. I want to make sure that this is not something you dread. I want to make sure this is something that you find useful. And so there's all those different groups. Please join the groups that are relevant to your work. I know that most people, and so by joining those groups, you'll be able to see more information relevant to you. And so at this, I was kind of talking about when to post something on the main page and when to post it in a group. So this example here, this leadership development, this was something that is generally belong in the policy and planning, but it's not even really planning oriented, versus the White House call on food security that might have been a better fit for community nutrition. And that's just because the people in that community nutrition group, they're already bought into nutrition and they want to know about the White House call. So some of the features on the top are the feed, which we just looked at, the membership database. So if you saw, I clicked on find members, and then now you can get more specific. So if you're looking for a partner and you need a nonprofit partner or a production partner, people for you. So right now there's 107 members in the group. You can see how important right here it is to have a profile picture, just how much more inviting it looks when we have names and faces. And so you can go in and use that membership resource. Here is the calendar. I think the calendar is one of the most useful tools. Calendar view, or you can look at it in a list view. And so I hope that we'll get in the habit of putting recurring meetings. So the Urban Food Sovereignty Group, the Network to End Hunger, the Small Farmers Coalition, any of those events that are happening on a monthly, quarterly, any kind of, or even just one-off that you at it, because hopefully people will start getting in the habit of checking this calendar and making sure that they're not double booking, so that they don't have their own event on that same day, and also so they can plan to attend. We all know that the more time we have to prepare for something, the higher chances that we show up. And so, you know, by using this calendar feature, we can say, oh, a lot of people are doing stuff on December 10th. Maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we should try to aim for a different day. So that way we're not competing over the same, the same attention. There's only so much time in the day. We can only be one place at one time. And so the events, like I said, we're going to talk about more about making an event and the different attributes with making it an event. But I think that the calendar is really useful. And if you toggle the event notifications on, then when people send out calendar invites, that'll go directly to your calendar and you can respond right there. And then lastly is the resources. This will also grow as we grow. And so like today with this video, once it's recorded, I'm going to turn it into a YouTube, and then I'm going to add that link to these quick links. So that way you can come back and watch this video as all the other, hopefully, meeting practices and protocols, and maybe group photos, all kinds of things. So right now it's pretty barren, but hoping to build it out to where it has, basically we can hopefully decrease the amount of times that we say, hey, can you send me this? Can you send me this? And so now I'm kind of reviewing the groups. So I just clicked on the farm to school group. It just says, are you sure, join or cancel? And so there, boom, you're in the farm to school group. And so you can see that all of this stuff is specific to farm to school. So there's a grant opportunity. There was an educational opportunity. And so all of the groups, like I said, will be more powerful the more that we use them and the more specific content that there is. And this should be the place where when you see something farm to school related, instead of sending an email that says share with your networks, you should be putting that in the platform. And because this is your network, right? And these networks have networks. So that was just kind of a review of the basic features of the platform. Okay, so the different types of posts. So on the feed, which is just that kind of all of the different groups have a feed. And so on the feed, there is different types of posts. So we have discussion, poll, event, opportunity, and then it says and more, and the and more is a recommendation. So the discussion is probably the most popular post. It's generic posts. They require a title and then a description. And so when you're doing a discussion post, try to make your title as like useful as possible. So we'll review some examples in a future slide. But you really want to make it short and concise. Farm to school grant or webinar, learning about cover cropping, and then in the body is where you can share more of that information. A poll is a nice way to gather consensus. And so we've used it a few times in the app, but it's not as sophisticated as other polls, but you can get just kind of a quick consensus. So, do we want to meet Thursday morning or Thursday night? Put a poll, see where the votes lie. Do we want this meeting to be in person or virtual? Those kind of things. And so the poll can be a good way to get people just to kind of quickly respond. And so that way you can take that information for your next step. The event, like I said, I think that's one of the best features of this platform. And so we can advertise date-specific activities such as meetings, workshops, and conferences. So right now, actually in the platform, a network partner made an event that lasts 6 weeks. And so that covers 6 weeks on the calendar. That probably wasn't the best way to do that because it's not every single day for 6 weeks. I think it's every Tuesday for those 6 weeks. So that would be better to have it as a standalone, every Tuesday for those 6 Tuesdays. And that's just a visual thing. It frees your calendars more. But usually these events are date specific. It's a conference, it's a workshop, it's a meeting. They have a set time and a set date, a location. So these are really where once you decide, oh, we're going to have our annual conference, you should go to the Mobilize, to the online platform, and share that as soon as possible. And then if people have toggled to receive this information, then they will get the calendar invite. An opportunity, this is something that I hope we can use a little more. I wish it was more customizable, but it does have some potential. So this is jobs. And so on the opportunities, when you click on opportunity, it has job, mentorship, program, fellowship, volunteer, internship. So those are pre-created kind of categories. I wish that there could be a little more flexibility there, but if your organization is hiring, that's a job. I am going to show an example of what a program could look like. And, fellowship, volunteering, looking for volunteers, those kind of things. So this formats it in a way that, once again, is very easy to read, and it puts the most important information first, and then it'll also alert people of an opportunity. And then the recommendation, we probably won't use that much because we're not really selling stuff here. But if I know that the community gardeners right now are looking for someone to buy bulk high quality soil from. And so I know that's something they've been sharing emails about. Where does everybody get their soil? How much does it cost? Was it good last year? Those kind of things. So that could be a recommendation. We recommend, this group. I will say that Hillsborough County Extension, we don't endorse any individual product. We're not trying to sell you anything. But that's a little different than a recommendation. Worked well for me, maybe it could work well for you. So don't forget the intro post. This is an example of what it looks like. See how visually appealing that is. So that little yellow guy, when you click say hi, it'll already take you to this format. And so, Dahlia told us a little bit about herself. She linked the organization that she works for. And there's a nice big picture of her, so we know what she looks like. So the intro post only kind of comes up once, or until you do an introduction, you should see that little yellow person on your feed. But this won't be something after you do it once, I don't think you can come back and do it again. And so that's like a different type of post, but a very important one. And I hope that those of you that haven't done an intro post today, when you have a little more time, I hope that you go onto the platform, you adjust your notifications, you download the app, and then you do an intro post, because that will really kind of not only allow people to better know you, but it'll also inspire other people to do the intro post. So I want to kind of quickly just go through an example of what a post could look like. So I am hoping that our technology will cooperate. I think that you all can still see. Can somebody tell me if you can see the Mobilize, like my browser, thumbs up or yes or anything for what's on the screen right now? Anybody? Okay, great. Thank you, Lana. So here is an example of something that I think is worth posting. So I saw this in an email yesterday. The county has mini grants, and they're up to $5,000 to make an impact in your community. And so I'm not exactly sure what the specifics are. I know that community gardens in the past have applied for them. A popular program features project categories aimed at bringing neighbors together and boosting community involvement, including healthy neighborhood, safe neighborhood, engaged neighborhood. So to me, that sounds like a community garden. So maybe your community garden wants to get a signs for a walkthrough exhibit, the self-guided tour. Maybe you want to have a little program where you can invite your neighbors out and talk to them about community gardening, and you need a little money to do that. So when I saw this, I thought of all of the members on the platform. So how I would post this is I would copy the link. I would go to the Mobilize. So this is a good example of kind of wondering, like, where's the best fit for this? So to me, this is for everybody. This isn't specific to a group. If the mini grant was specifically for food producers or for schools, then that would make it so that there's a better group for it to be in. But this is for everybody. So here's our discussion, poll, event, opportunity. I'm going to go ahead and use the opportunity for this. And so, grant isn't one of them, but I'm going to go ahead and say this is a program. And so what's the opportunity? Mini grants for neighborhoods. So pretty short. The company is Hillsborough County. The location is online. The link to apply, I'm going to paste that. What would I like to say? So at this point, you don't have to work hard. You don't have to make new words. And so we're just going to look over here. You could copy and paste all of this, or you can just kind of look and see the best things to take. So I think the $5,000 is important. Community cleanups, landscaping. So we'll go all the way up to this first sentence. We'll copy it. And what I like to do is tell people, if this is not specific, this is not my grant program. So if people have questions, they shouldn't ask me. I'm just passing information along. So I usually like to say, got this from an email, reach out to the organizers for more information. Let people know that this is something that I'm just sharing. And so, then all of these other grants or these other links, if you were to copy them, so let's go ahead and copy this too. So we're going to include this in our description. And so in that, there was a hyperlink. And so this was a hyperlink already. Here, I'll show you. This was a hyperlink already. So it launches this neighborhood mini grant application, more information. So I want to make sure that this hyperlink also works. And so how you can do that is you can click on it. And then down here, this little hyperlink dude, he turned colors. So here, no colors, here, colors. So you click on it and you just check. So I like to go to the beginning and make sure that it starts with HTTPS www. And the reason is a lot of our emails have security features embedded in them. And so if you copy from one of your emails that has one of these security features, it'll have a whole bunch of security stuff before this HTTPS that'll make it so that others can't use this link. So just a quick visual check to make sure that this link is complete. Make sure it's there. Okay, great. I always like to encourage a logo. So I'm just going to go ahead and save this image of Hillsborough County. We're gonna, yep, there's the logo. I'm saving it in my downloads. So now I'm gonna add a logo. Gonna go to my downloads. Hopefully this is the right size. Okay, so that unfortunately was too big. But you know, any kind of small logo or a picture of something would really help with the visual appeal. I'm not going to do that right now because we're doing this training, but hopefully you can take a few extra minutes to either resize it or to find a smaller picture. And then you can post it. And I don't know if you all have the feature to schedule a post. Send later. I do. But if you do, then that can be something like if somebody's already posted 3 times on the platform, then maybe it's worth waiting till later in the day or tomorrow. And so if you do have that feature, you can send it later. I'm not sure you do. I'm going to go ahead and post this now. And so there we go. And then if there was a logo, it would be here. It'd be really pretty and easy to see. And then people can click here. And then you all can come and appreciate it. You can leave a comment. So we got this mini grant last year and it was great and easy. That might help somebody else know, okay, this is worth applying for. This is worth taking a few minutes to apply for $5,000. So there we go. So that's an example of a different type of post that you can do. But like I said, if this was more specific to schools, gardens, farms, nutrition, then you'd want to consider whether it's a better fit for one of these groups. Okay. We are getting close to the end. I know it's been a lot of information, but I appreciate you all taking the time to listen. So some quick best practices for posting. And so, we live in a digital world now, and so I'm sure that you already know a lot about these, but in case you haven't, just wanted to review. So, so here's an example of something I posted a while ago. There was a survey that was talking about food system language. And so you can see that the title, it's to the point. This is a survey. You know what to expect. It's not a grant. It's not a webinar. It's not a conference. It's a survey. And the survey is on food system language. And then the body, you want to kind of do a happy medium in between too much information, where it's just a wall of text, or too little information where people don't know what this is really about. So I would say, honestly, that this is kind of even treading on the too much information. But, it says Iowa State Extension, they offer various food system courses. We took one. So these are all members of Homegrown Hillsborough. We actually went through a training with Iowa State and it was great. And so I feel especially motivated to let them know about, our thoughts through this survey, because we received this training. So hopefully it'll strengthen the training. And some information. And then I said, I encourage everybody in this network to complete the survey. And then, here's the survey here. And I checked to make sure the link works. And so that way other people can go and access it. And then I tagged people these people were all involved in the training. So I think it's especially important that they take a few minutes to complete the survey, because they were an end user. And so that's a way to draw attention to others. So if you have somebody in your mind, you want to share it with the whole network, but you really, really want one person to see it, then you can tag them. So visuals always help. Here's a nice, beautiful picture. It draws your eyes to the screen, happy faces, it makes you feel good. Check the hyperlinks. So like I said, if I copy this from an email, then it might have that embedded security feature that makes it hard to use later. And then you always have the option to either just post the URL, so that https:// all of that. That can be ugly, especially for some hyperlinks that are long. And so you can always change, you can kind of, it's called giving an alias. You can give this ugly hyperlink an alias by using text. And so in this example where it says survey, that URL was nice and long, and then I decided to use the word survey. So how you do that, how you give it this alias, is you click on this little hyperlink sign right here. So it's the same one right here, it's the same one right here. And so that'll give it this alias, so that way you don't have just 2 lines full of digital URL. You can tag relevant members using the @ So it's very simple. You literally just you do shift and 2, which is where your @ sign is, and then you start typing someone's name, and if they're in that group, it'll pop up. And so if you're in the food production group and you're trying to tag somebody who's not in the food production group, unfortunately, you won't be able to. And so once again, it's really important that we all kind of get to our relevant groups, so that way when our peers are trying to find us, they know that where we are. And so all I did to tag all these people was I typed @ and I started typing Dahlia's name, and all the D's came up. And as I typed more of her name, Dahlia's name came up. I pressed entered. I did it for Joshua, did it for Craig, did it for Bernard. And then all these people should have gotten notifications. And whether that is through an email or whether that is when next time they came onto the platform, they had a little notification. And so the tagging relevant members, kind of what I like to do is I like to do the post. This is an exception, but I like to do the post without any tags, and then in the comments, I'll tag people. So that way we can start a conversation in the comment, or just kind of keep it a little cleaner. You want to always mention where members can learn more. So if this is not your project, you don't have the answers, then let people know where they can go and get the answers. If you don't, they're going to ask you, and then you're going to have to say, I don't know. Email somebody else or Google it. And so let's just cut that out of the process, and let's just make it so that members, when they read this, they can say, okay, I always hit extension, I'm going to Google that and find out more. Check to see if somebody's already posted. So there is a search bar that that can search all of the groups. And so we're going to have duplicates, and that's fine. I'd rather have duplicates than have us miss out on opportunities. But if you see that an event is coming up and you go, oh, I really want everyone in the network to know about this, go ahead and just spend a minute and see if someone's already posted it. And that way, the information we get, once again, is useful to us. And then for events, see if the date is already claimed. So this is something that I think we all just kind of went through. October was like one of the busiest months of my life. And there was 16 events to be at every single day. It's because the weather gets so beautiful. Everybody wants to emerge from their houses and get outside. But hopefully we can use this as a way to kind of first come, first serve. The earlier you get your event on the calendar, hopefully it can make it so that others don't pick that same date to do an event. Some quick content guidelines. So before you post, ask yourself, how will this benefit the network? So is this something that others are going to benefit from? And that's a pretty low threshold. I think that we can all benefit from lots of information, resource sharing, webinars, things like that. And so how does, will this benefit the network? Yes, I do. I do think so. Okay. So now the next question is there a better group for this? So I'm going to go post it on the main page, but maybe this is a better fit for the farm to school group. Maybe this is a better fit for the Healthy Corner Store working group. So ask yourself, is this the best fit? And then one thing that's important, and we're not going to talk too much about, is the difference between policy and politics. And so policy is legislation, right? So a new policy in Texas is making it so that universal lunches are going to be statewide. Great. Politics is this dumb senator didn't vote for it, and so therefore let's go support his opposition. So politics is usually about a person, and even an article that's being critical or even praising somebody, that's still politics. And we don't want this to become a political battleground. I think that we have a lot of common interests all together, regardless kind of where our politics are. And so, so policy, yes, let's learn from other legislation. Let's learn from other land use rules and lots of other things. But if you are scared about whether you're about to post politics or policy, then don't post it, and reach out to me, and we can talk together about whether I think this is a good fit, or whether we think this is a good fit or not. So this is not a place to say, we should vote for this person, or we should support this. This is a place to say, hey, look, this organization is promoting this piece of legislation because it's going to help improve access. Make sure it's Hillsborough County specific. So this is for as Homegrown Hillsborough. As much as I look forward to the day that we're doing this type of work at a regional level, Tampa Bay, possibly statewide, who knows? Right now, it really is, we got to get our own network kind of tidied and organized in order to then go and work with other counties. So this is Hillsborough County specific. We can slip in an occasional, hey, let's go check out the Collard Fest up in Newport Richey. That's fine. Maybe we don't send that calendar invite out. I'll talk about that in a second. But make sure that for the most part, the bulk of it is Hillsborough County. And if I start seeing kind of too many things that aren't Hillsborough County, then I'll probably start having to kind of do some more moderation and make sure that we stay on topic. We want to make sure that we're sharing credible articles. So blogs generally they generally have a pretty acute bias. And so whether that's something you agree with or something you disagree with, we really want to seek out credible, peer-reviewed, scholarly, research-backed articles, so that way we're not spreading misinformation. And so you can always look for a .edu. You can go to Google Scholar. I do think that a future workshop will include how to find scholarly information and how to verify credible information. So if your friend just posted an article about I don't know, something, and you want to share it, ask yourself, like, is this just my friend's opinion, or is this actual credible information? And then after you posted, use the comment section to tag relevant members. So I've done this several times with Joshua, who is part of our network. He's a small farm building a CSA. I've seen some relevant grants and programs, and I'll post it, and then in the comments I'll say, hey, Joshua, make sure you want to see this. And whether he decides to do something with it or not, that's up to him. I just wanted to make sure that his eyes got to see it. If it's a post that you put on a Monday, it will show up within the Thursday weekly highlights. And so basically every week, the brand new posts that are added go into this condensed weekly Thursday email, which is why it's important that you get that email. And then if you have an event that you posted 3 weeks ago, but it's coming up, you can ask me to mark it as it's highlighted, and it'll reboost it. It'll resend it out through the email. And so, like I said, if you're planning a fall festival and you posted about it 5 weeks ago because you got it on the calendar, you were really proactive, but now you're getting a little close and you want to remind people, hey, this event's next week, then you can reach out to me and we can reboost that. So that way people that looked at it, they just forgot to put it on their calendar. They forgot to RSVP. And then make sure that you enable settings to notify you if members reply to you. So that's why in that very beginning, I was talking about toggling that on, because if you post something and then somebody has a question for you and you don't see it, then they're just going to be left wondering. Okay, so events. I think that this is one of our most important features. I think this is kind of where we can show like the strength of this. So everybody is protective of their calendars. Everybody does calendars in different ways and different systems. So we do need to be mindful of what we push out versus what we post. And so if you have very strict calendar protocols and you don't want anybody putting anything on your calendar without approval, then just go ahead and turn off the event notifications. that'll make it so that never happens. You'll be alerted of it in the weekly email, or if you go on the platform, but it won't show up on your calendar. So you have the ability to decrease your notifications. And so, but I don't encourage that. I encourage you to turn on your notifications. And if you see an event on your calendar and you can't make it, then decline that event. That's fine. You're not hurting anybody's feelings by being honest. We're going to find out one way or another if you can't come to the event, because you won't be at the event. But it's more useful than it is hurtful. So most people do benefit from calendar invites because it puts a hunk of time on their calendar. And so whether they talk about something casually while standing around, and then when they actually get their calendar out and they go, oh, that's when that meeting was. Okay, great. And so with that in mind, with the fact that everyone's protective of it, we want to treat people's, time with respect. And so there are a few different things to review. So first, a visual element, once again, is always going to make it so that more people look at it and that they're more receptive to it. So you can see at the top, you can click or drop to upload. Unfortunately, it does kind of cut it out in this horizontal way. So it can be a little frustrating, and I hope that you'll spend a few minutes just trying to make it work. It doesn't have to be beautiful, but it can be a little frustrating, and I might try to work on some basic graphics that I can share and that you all can kind of modify to use that fit these dimensions. But so a visual element always helps. If you don't have like a flyer or something that you can cut from, put your logo, put your company logo there. And then that way people will start connecting your organization with this event. And so that's always an easy thing to kind of default to. So the event name, it's the Fall Festival at Wholesome Communities Church. That's a great name. Short, sweet, descriptive. Awesome. The location, where is it going to be? When you start typing in an address, it'll prompt, like it's connected to maps, and so it'll verify that address, and you can put it there, or you can manually enter it. The time, so the date and the time that it starts and it ends. The time zone, for the most part, I think we'll all be staying in the same time zone, but this is for like national networks that they have clients over on the West Coast, but we're all in the same time zone here in Hillsborough County. And then the event description, this is where you can share the information about what to expect of the event, parking, how to register, who to contact with questions, is there going to be childcare, those kind of things. This public event versus a private event, I don't think we'll really be using this, but basically the difference is that a private event doesn't share it, but you can specifically invite people. So if for some reason you're having a super secret meeting and you don't want it to be on the main feed, but you want to use the platform to get your 20 top secret participants in, then you make a private event and then you will pick who's invited. But I don't see us using that a lot. And then this box right here, this invite all groups by email, this is something that I want everybody to stop and take 30 seconds before they click or unclick to ask themselves, does this deserve a calendar push, basically? Because by clicking that, this is going to send everybody an email about it and send a calendar invite to them. If you don't click it, then it will just be on the platform. It will show up in the highlights. It'll be a notification on the wall or on the feed. And so I think that because we're posting meaningful events that are useful to our network and specific to our groups, that for the most part, this should be clicked. It's the monthly meeting you're having. It's the annual workshop. It's the get together, whatever that is. And then on the other side of things, people should be responding to those accurately. And so if you get the invite and you're not sure, mark it as tentative. If you are sure and you say you're going, but then later on something pops up and you can't, go and change that. Mark it as declined. This will help not only strengthen our group, but it'll help organizers better use their time. And then so the email subject line, there's 3 pre-created texts. So it's either event name, invitation, or it says don't miss out, event name, or it says something cute like I wanted you to see this. But unfortunately, there's not a lot of flexibility there. So you can pick one of those three, and that's how it will come out through the email. So RSVPing is really important, and it's a great example of social capital. So once again, if you've heard me present on kind of some of the foundations of Homegrown Hillsborough, you'll know that we are striving to build social capital amongst our members and amongst our partnerships. And so social capital is the combination of three things: trust, reciprocity, and a common goal. And so RSVPing is like one of the easiest ways to build social capital. So if you say you're going to be somewhere, will you actually be there? And it's okay if you're not, but it's the honesty that matters, because organizers are spending time making packets, ordering enough food, making sure there's enough parking, getting the right size building or meeting room. And so if they're planning on 60 but 14 come, then that's a lot of wasted time, and none of us want to waste our time. And so if you say you're going to be somewhere and you don't, then that does hurt our network. That does hurt our trust in each other. Reciprocity, let's show up for each other's events. Let's not double book and be competing over the same audience. Let's try to make it so that we can do the Seminole Heights Garden Tour on Saturday morning, and then the Seffner Farm party on Sunday. Different people, different days. And then also let's try to show up as much as we can. If, in theory, we're all here because we have common goals. And so if people are organized, if people are already meeting, let's show up to their meetings before we build something new. Let's see if there's already this work that's being done and who we can connect with there. So it's important that we show up for each other. And then, the common goals, like I said, we're all here kind of because we believe in a similar vision, and every day we're learning more about that vision. But so RSVPing to me is a very easy way to build social capital. Time as a resource, I've already kind of talked about this. A lot goes into event organization, even just meetings, and so we want to show respect to those organizers and to those leaders by if they're going to be intentional with their time and work hard to create this event, webinar, conference, meeting, then we want to show respect by showing them that thank you for doing this. I benefited from it. I showed up and I was really appreciative of it. And so by having accurate guest counts and better understanding of who's going to be there, then we can make sure that time doesn't get wasted. And then there is an option to send a reminder at the bottom of the events. It only sends a reminder to people who haven't answered, and there's not a way to change that. I think there's an automatic reminder for people that have already RSVP'd. But so for example, the event on the screen is the end of the year partnership meeting. I hope that every single one of you will be there. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And so I don't have the date, I have the date. I don't have the location quite yet, but by going and putting it on your calendars, hopefully you can plan to be there no matter where it is. And so I have some information on what to expect. And then you can see that I have 20 people going, 10 maybes, 5 not going. Well, this event is going to have food, and it's probably going to have some pretty nice food. So I want to make sure that if I'm getting food for 20 people, then that's how many people are coming to, and hopefully I don't have 60 and don't have enough, and then hopefully I don't have 1 and have too much. So it is really important that we be honest with our RSVPs and that we RSVP. And then lastly, let's try to form new habits. So this technology, I believe, can help us improve our communication and satisfy our collective impact component. I think that it will become something that we all benefit from. I think it'll be something that strengthens our work. With any technology, there's a learning curve. And so, practice. And, we're all learning together. So don't be afraid to just get out there and post something. If there's a glaring issue, I'll reach out to you and I'll say, hey, let's work on this, or maybe this is a better fit for this. It's not you're not in trouble. It's just we're gonna all learn together and we're all gonna get comfortable learning together. So definitely spend some time, click through all the features. I basically went through all the features today. And so hopefully this has been really insightful. Use the member feature to get connected. So I don't know about you all, but I've had many times when someone says, oh yeah, I'll connect you with them. Or oh yeah, let's get together and I'll shoot you an email. Well, this membership feature can really help us decrease that in-between time, and can decrease those kind of accidental mishaps where somebody forgot to email you, or they gave you you wrote down their email wrong. And so if you see somebody and you want to connect with them, say, are you in the online platform? Okay, great. I'll reach out to you there and we can schedule a meeting. And so the member feature, I think, is really valuable. Once again, that name and face will also help. Maybe you saw somebody across the room or you saw somebody present, but you forgot their name. But if you go on the membership, then you can look and you're like, oh, that's the person that was presenting and that I wanted to learn more from. Okay, great. A lot of times we'll share information via email and we'll say, share with your networks, please share with your networks. Well, this is your network. And so anytime that you're sending an email out and you're saying share with your networks or relevant parties, if it's relevant to Homegrown Hillsborough or into the Hillsborough County community, then post it on the platform, and post it in the right group and decide whether it's worth a calendar push or not. But share with your networks should start in your mind equaling post it in the platform. And then lastly, RSVP to invites. Okay, last thing before we wrap up, beware of this new Mobilize email. So one of the things that is cool is that this platform integrates email service to help streamline communication. So if you've gotten communication through the platform, you'll see that it says you can reply directly to this email. And you can. And so when you do, it sends me back a notification. And so it can help make communication quick and easy. And if you're in the field, you can just reply. You don't have to log on to the app or log on to the platform, although I very much encourage you to. And so this email, this petrella.ml.homegrownhillsborough@membersmobilize, that is not my primary email. So if you're trying to reach out to me for something that and you're not just trying to reply to a platform inquiry, then always check to see if you're emailing the @Hillsborough County or the @Homegrown Hillsborough. And I know it's confusing, but hopefully we'll get in the habit of not using this email. People have used it as a primary email and it's kind of gotten lost on the internet. So just beware of that. Basically, if you see the Mobilize word in it, then that's not the right one. You can also save this as Mobilize Monica, so that way you know that it's not my primary email. All right, and so real quick before we wrap up, I want everybody I hope that everybody has downloaded the app and I hope that you are ready to use it. I'm gonna kind of quickly show how to change your notifications. So this is on an iPhone. I have an iPhone. I believe that this is like the best way to use Mobilize because you get a little pop-up. It's easy to respond to. But so if you have an iPhone, then you go to settings, so settings, and then you go to notifications, and then so there's notifications, and then you scroll down to the app. So you've already downloaded it, so there it is, Mobilize. And then these, I have all notifications on because I care about responding to you all very quickly. So I've turned on my screen notification banners. You can pick which one's best for you. But the most important thing is this up here, this allow notifications. And I believe it's essential. At the bare minimum, I hope that you download the app and turn on these notifications. If you do that, you can turn off notifications everywhere else. You never have to get another email. You never have to get another push. You never have to do any of that as long as you have these notifications on. So it's up to you, highly customizable. The app is easy to use in the field. So if you're at an event and you're talking to somebody and you say, oh, are you in the platform? You can pull up their membership right there. Oh, I have your email here. Are you still working for so-and-so? Okay, cool. So I definitely encourage it. It's an easy way to respond to stuff. You can get notified. The other week, the Coalition of Community Gardens had their quarterly meeting. I was planning to attend, but I got caught up in something, so I went to the event on the platform, and I tried to alert Kitty, hey Kitty, unfortunately I'm not going to be there. If she had the app, it would come up on her phone and she would see that, and then that would be that. So I, like I said, I encourage you to get it. Using the app, just real quick, these are the different features in the app. So the groups are off to the side where these little 3 are. When you click on these 3 lines, these are where all the groups are. Down here is where your messages are, these one-on-one messages between you and members. If you want to do a post, then you click on this little plus, and these are your options. Your notifications, so when people respond to your events or they comment on your stuff, these are where your notifications are. And then lastly, your settings here. And so if you want to add a profile picture from your phone, then you can download the app and then you can upload your photo right here. Lastly, the network is only as strong as we make it. I can post into oblivion and I can just yell into a void, but it really, really does take other people contributing to it to make it useful. This is not Monica's food system. This is our Hillsborough County food system. And so we want to celebrate and share your events. We want to make it so that, you know, you're having the turnout that you expect, and that we're getting the work done that we envision. I am realizing that I kind of glossed over one thing on the events page. So one thing to ask yourself when you're posting an event is this event for my members, like for the Homegrown Hillsborough members, or is it for their clients? And so, for example, the FNET SNAP education, that's probably not relevant for the members of this group because we're also doing SNAP education, right? But it's relevant for our clients. So you can kind of decide whether you think it's best for a discussion post, you know, an opportunity, or an event. So, and we can talk a little bit more about that. If you have questions, just let me know. And so, real quick, just to plug 2 events coming up on November 8th, next Wednesday, we're doing a Know Your Farmer virtual panel. We'll be talking to 3 different farmers about their production practices and how you can support them. And then the end of the year partnership meeting. So I'm excited for all of that. I'm excited for all of what's to come. I hope that this was useful. I know that it was long, but you know, hopefully this 1 hour and 16-minute training can make it so that we can really start using this app to its fullest potential. So that is all that I have, and I would love it if people had any questions. And you can just come off mute and ask if you want. Okay. Okay, great. Well, I'm going to stop recording. I saw that Lana was typing and then she stopped.